Neural DSP released Nano-os 2.0 this past week.
Nano-os.
And Nano-os is the funniest thing in the world because you were saying that the Quad Cortex, they call it Core OS, right?
Yeah. Yep.
But Nano-os just sounds like they've rebuilt and upgraded your grandma.
They've upgraded Nan. Yeah.
Nano-os 2.0. Now she, I don't know, like burns the dishes. I don't know. But all I see in my head is like some like Mecca grandma that can.
Yeah.
That's like
I'm picturing it like
scaling walls and.
Who was the robot made in the Jetsons?
Rosie.
That's Rosie. That's what I have in my head now. Yeah.
Yes. But apparently it's got nothing to do with that. It's just more stuff for the Nano Cortex. And those things are pretty big.
Yes.
So they're touting 47 new effects and utilities. That includes 3 new EQs, a doubler, 8 compressors, 4 new wahs, 2 filters, 9 overdrives, 6 modulation effects, 5 delays, 5 new reverbs. So fleshing out a much wider swath of things to add to your signal chain.
Yeah, plus some new routing flexibility.
Yeah, so talking about like utilities, they now have a built-in input gate that used to be a block that you had to put into the signal path. You know, it's eating up DSP. Now, don't have to worry about that. It's there on the front end. Now, granted, every other modeler at this point does that, but
has had that for a while.
Yeah. And with this particular model, it's small footprint. The functionality is kind of optimized. So this is a welcome addition to the functionality of this unit.
For sure. There's a little bit of a giveaway there though, because the Quad Cortex has had that forever.
Yeah.
So it tells us that the Nano Cortex is not running off the same system, really. It's its own thing, and it's going to get its own upgrade path separately. It's got its own Nano-os versus Core OS. They're just separate enough ecosystems that they are going to evolve separately. Although a lot of the new things that are coming on there, I recognize their names from Quad Cortex. Sure. So, you know, they've been ported over into the Nano-os world, which is a good thing.
But that is a distinction from the other players in this world. There's not a different OS from the HX Stomp to the Helix. It's all the same.
Right.
Just less features based on the amount of processing available.
Yeah.
But you don't have to wait for an amp or an effect to go from one product to the other. When they're released, it goes to all of them all at once.
Same with Headrush, the Prime and the Core and Flex. A new block comes out for them all simultaneously because it's all the same update.
So the biggest deal of this release is the added flexibility to the signal chain. Before this, the Nano Cortex was very much like the Pod Go, where the signal chain was pretty much set in stone, and you could add things or take things away, but you couldn't necessarily move them to different blocks. And while it appears that there's still some rigidity to that system, it's less than it was before.
Yeah, you get 2 or 3 blocks before the amp, you get 2 or 3 blocks after the amp, and you can put a limited prescribed range of effects into those blocks.
Right. And now you have more say over it, but it does say in the release notes that certain things are still optimized for this pre or post setup.
Yeah.
And putting something on the pre side might mean that it has different features than if you put them on the post side. So like some things would be only mono on the pre, but would be stereo on the post.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, it's better.
Well, yeah, it's more flexible. I think flexibility can be an illusion sometimes. You know, when I was looking for my latest purchase, I did consider the Pod Go, and one of the things that I got honest with myself about was I've bought things, the Helix and the Quad Cortex, that are wide open. Put anything anywhere, do anything you want. And the reality is I never did. I did very standard signal path setups, and I only used 1 or 2 of them, maybe in a whole show. And I didn't come anywhere close to exploiting the full flexibility that those platforms provided. Sure. So something like the Pod Go is a little more opinionated about how things are built out. Like, kind of not the end of the world, because that's how I'm probably going to do it anyway. And, maybe it saves me $1 or $2, but maybe it also channels me toward better outcomes than if I had a whole playground to play in and mess things up in, end up with something I didn't want, versus like, it's going to only let me do things that are going to end up being pretty much good.
Fair.
So flexibility is, it sounds like that's absolutely good, but I don't know. I think there are times when a tool that's helping you toward a better outcome is worth having, even if it means less flexibility.
I think that's a fair assessment. The thing that makes the Nano Cortex so appealing is the form factor and price point. So it's small and it's on the lower end of all of these products. At the moment it's retailing for $549. That's of course going up, but it currently is priced below what the HX Stomp is priced at.
Yes.
And everything that I've heard is it's a very compelling product. It sounds great.
Yes.
Now, I don't love all of the things that it's missing. Like I like having a readout, and the fact that it doesn't makes it a hard sell for me. But for a lot of folks, that's not a problem. And they seem to be very, very popular in our world. So I think this announcement is only going to increase that popularity, because the end product is better and more fleshed out. And these are the things that kind of happen when you release a new product into the marketplace. They take time to evolve. And the Helix has been out for 10 years at this point. So yeah, it's going to be able to do more because they've had more time to cram stuff into it to see what it can do.
Right. 10 years worth of user feedback.
So, this product 10 years down the road could be everything that you're looking for. So if the YouTube algorithm is sending this to you 10 years from now, maybe nan-os 7.
10. I don't know.
Yeah, it just has all the stuff you need, and you'll never want another thing ever again.
That's right.
It makes you dinner. It tucks you in. It gives
plays the guitar for you.
It sends you positive affirmations to go to sleep to.
That's right.
Who's to say?
It turns up the talent level on your Neuralink.
Everything is possible.
I do want a talent pedal. There have been shows I needed that badly.
Totally. I think this is a good week for gearheads, because there's a bunch of new stuff out there. And I do like the idea that those people who have purchased into an ecosystem, getting these bright new shiny things to their already existing hardware, that I think that's going to be something that a lot of gear companies are going to be leaning into over the next indeterminate amount of time, until whatever is happening stops happening.
Yeah.
Because it's a good place to pour R&D and resources into, because it's something that's going to benefit a wide user base and help expand it, while also like reinforcing the people who are already, bought in and on board. So yes. I think we'll see a large kind of shift towards product updates while we get this hardware thing figured out in the meantime.
Right.
Which hopefully means more new shiny things for my Stomp. I mean, I'm always ready for those.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm game.
Not that I ever add stuff or take stuff away from the things I already have, but I do like opening it up and be like, oh, I'll add this amp, see what it does. I'm like, cool. I'm still going to go back to the one that I've been using, because if it ain't broke, why mess with it?